I knew I wanted to do the stories of the characters pre-Torchwood from way before the beginning of Series 2.
It's the season finale coming up next week, and this is the time to take stock, actually. This is time to look at who we are, why we're there, who we could be, who they were, all these Torchwood people. A bomb goes off, puts them all in danger. We study each one in that crisis, ready for next week.
I'm gonna tear your world apart, Captain Jack Harkness.
We see Jack back in Victorian times. There's so many gaps to fill in Jack's life. It's so exciting.
It was just that thing of how would he survive? How would he survive 100 years waiting for the Doctor?
I loved playing that. It was a good thing for me to get in a period outfit, and you might notice that I had slightly bigger sideburns on that episode, which were painstakingly put on. I hate things being put on my face, and it was every day I'd scream before they'd put it on in the morning. I don't like the feeling of glue going in my face. Alice and Emily are vicious to me because they don't know I'm a freak that's come to them. I am what Torchwood is out there to protect everybody from, so of course they're going to be a little bit off with me.
Action.
And then I have to prove myself to them. But at that point also, Jack will do anything for money.
Okay, stand by for rehearsal, please.
He doesn't happily walk into Torchwood and say, "Hooray, I'll work for you." He's co-opted into it, he's coerced into it, he's trapped into it in some ways, and yet finds his place in life.
Captain Jack goes back to what he knows. He becomes a mercenary again. He's doing missions for money, really.
I said sorry. Come on. This is my first offense. What are you doing? You can't lock me up. Why?
It was the threat to the Empire.
Like me?
I think by him seeing how brutal the current members of Torchwood were at that time, he feels that there's something missing. And interestingly, in a way, you could say that the thing that Torchwood was missing, that Captain Jack knew at that time was missing, was someone like Gwen Cooper. But it took him 100 years to find the right person to fill that space.
I'd often thought how Tosh came to being in Torchwood. I knew that Jack had found her and recruited her. When I read episode 12, it just made complete sense.
I want to see my mother. I want to know she's all right. Now.
In a way, the best thing that happened to Shiko by joining Torchwood happened via the worst things that could have happened to her, with her mother and with her having to become a sort of double agent and steal stuff and be coerced into crime like that.
The whole thing of involving Tosh's mother did it for me. Having your mother or father involved would push you to those kind of extremes.
The Shiko story was a great one for a director because it didn't have a lot of dialogue in it. It's all about showing her state of mind and her sadness and loneliness through visuals.
Prisoner Sato inspection.
The cell was actually built in the studio, which I tried to make as small as possible with the designers.
And cut.
Well, she's the lowest of the low. She's imprisoned in a sort of indoor Guantanamo Bay, and it's absolutely alone. But there's one man in the universe who sees actually how clever she is and how valuable she could be.
You've got to get me out of here.
If you come work for me.
Really?
The three actors, Naoko, Gareth and Byrne, loved their stories. I think Byrne particularly...
Oh my God.
It was very important for me in terms of his attitude towards relationships and women. It answers a lot of questions.
I'm marrying you, even if it kills me, okay?
Owen was and is capable of a deep, true, loving relationship.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Casey.
He had it all, you know. He had a great job, he had a fiancée, he had a great future ahead of him, and everything was ripped from under him.
What is it? I'm sorry. I tried to stop them. She's dead.
I hope that Owen's story goes away to explaining that rage that we've seen in him.
Come on. Oh, come on.
Really wanted to bring the pterodactyl back in because we love the pterodactyl. Quite hard to shoehorn into stories generally, so it was a great chance. I really just wanted to write a romantic comedy with a pterodactyl between Jack and Yanto, and that's what that segment is about.
Sorry.
Oh, it was brilliant. I just fell in love with it. It was obviously how Yanto joined Torchwood.
I can do it. Like a butler, I could be a butler. We don't need a butler. Excuse me, dried egg on your collar. Yeah, it was a busy week. What exactly is your plan?
Yeah, the pterodactyl scene was quite a number to shoot. First thing I wanted to do was find an amazing location where you could really imagine someone keeping a pterodactyl. The big sort of steelworks we found was ideal because it meant that we could light it and give it a lot of depth and light from the side and above and give it this huge kind of aircraft hangar-like feel. And I wanted it to sort of be quite realistic, and I didn't want sort of a small room with a pterodactyl flying around, you know, too close to us all the time.
As soon as we got that, as soon as you know the pterodactyl was there, the warehouse we were filming was so vast and brilliant, you could really imagine it, and it was lit so beautifully. You could really imagine it. Jack being sort of carried around by his pterodactyl and it sort of standing in front of you.
The idea was always to have the pterodactyl kind of go away from us and see it from Yanto's point of view, so it sort of disappears with Jack hanging off it. We didn't do Jack dropping onto Yanto at the location. We decided to do that in a sort of more controlled atmosphere of the green screen studio.
I was quite lucky for the bit where Jack lands on Yanto. They got a double in.
Action. I did a lot of hanging from wires in the pterodactyl episode. It was actually okay. You know, everything's very safe. I was upside, you know, up there. I was rotating, moving back and forth. It was totally comfortable, and I had to pretend about, you know, being picked up by the pterodactyl, so they would hurtle this fake leg at me, and I would try to grab onto it with one hand, and off I'd go. But it was good fun. If I was 10 years old and doing that, that would have been awesome. But I'm, you know, 40 and doing it, and it's still awesome.
3, 2, 1, action.
So Series 2 concludes with a dramatic confrontation. Don't miss Torchwood next Friday night at 9. Next tonight on BBC 2, it's QI.